Hello everyone, welcome to HobbyEXP. My name is Cheston and I'm here and graced and honored to have three very talented people here. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Maybe I can start. I'm Johan. I've been playing One Piece since the end of OP01, and I've just been playing competitively ever since. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Ernest?
Hello, my name is Ernest. I'm a competitive One Piece card game player as well. I'm from Brisbane and I play for Eternal Magic. And I've played since Super pre-release,
Wow, that's
so before OPO1.
that takes me back. And Siris, last but not least.
Hi, I'm Siris. Some of you may know me as Charlie. I am also a Magic player that's based in Melbourne. I've been playing this game since start of OPO2,
Hmm.
and yeah, I played this game quite competitively.
Yeah, nice one. So everyone's feel like they were from grassroots all the way up here. I remember my first Super pre-release, showing my age now. But yeah, how did you guys get into this game? What makes you guys enjoy it so much? You've all, uh, Super pre-release was 3 years ago, because we're at our third anniversary now at least. So something must be good about it to keep you guys in the game. So, Joan, take it away.
I guess I've always really loved One Piece. I've watched it since I was a kid. So, like, when a card game came out, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna take a look into it. But I only got really into it at in OPO2. I heard some friends were traveling down to Melbourne just to play competitively, and
Wow.
like they came back and one of them won a cereal, and I was like, damn, I'm going to Brisbane next week, and next thing you knew, I've been flying around Australia playing just so I can play more of this game. The community's been absolutely amazing, so I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, no, that's fair play. I remember when, Johan, you were based here in Sydney. I would see you on Tuesday nights, and it was great. And unfortunately, circumstances, you're in Brisbane now. But look, it was lovely to see you at the One Piece offline regionals here in Sydney. Yeah. Ernest, what about you?
So yeah, I'm also a fan of One Piece. I've read the manga since week by week since Thriller Bark. So that's probably also showing my age.
Yeah, wow.
Um, so I used to dabble a little bit in like casual Magic the Gathering, and like before I saw a poster for OPO1, and I think at that time, I think post COVID, Pokemon like trading card games were like all the rage, so I just wanted to get in from the ground floor,
Mm,
and
mm,
yeah,
mm.
no, so just started that way. Moved to Gold Coast, and just being part of a card game community like at that time was a really good way to make friends and connect with people. And I also remember going to the first Treasure Cup in Sydney,
Oh,
um,
Chatswood,
like
what
during
a
OPO
great
one.
venue. Oh, I miss that place.
Yes, I did. I bombed out. I think that was it wasn't even like top 128. But I got like pretty competitive, like more competitive into the card game after my first top with the Vankov and OPO2, and just like since then I've just been kind of addicted to
A
the chase and
Vankov?
trying to play. Yeah, Vankov. Yeah, I look, since the Evenkov experience, I've tried to like pick like what you would call like best leaders, so that you have like a better chance to make top tables and things like that. A deck like Evenkov, you can get held back by poor matchups. So yeah,
Look, if
yeah,
it's any sort of context for me, I've tried to make Blue Nami work for the longest amount of time. I've seen people in the US, and Johan knows my story. I've been playing Blue Nami since like OPO3 since it dropped. I had a max rarity deck, all 10 Nami Dons from, the Straw Hat ones, and then I'm like, you know what? I have this. How hard can it be? Apparently very difficult. So and then she got kicked to the side from the band, so I'm like, I guess this is the end of my time. But yeah,
yeah.
anyway. And Cirrus, how about you?
So, when this game came out, because I come from Yu-Gi-Oh and I played Yu-Gi-Oh very competitively as well,
Oh,
so I never
okay.
thought to play another card game. But when I was in Japan and my friend introduced me to One Piece card game, and I was like, oh, this is cool, because I'm a big fan of One Piece and
Hmm.
more of a manga side because I started. It's the Dressrosa arc that really drew me in from the manga.
Okay.
and since I was a fan of One Piece, and then that one time I was in Japan, my friend introduced me to a card game, and like this is kind of cool, you should play it, and so I played it and I had a lot of fun. And then like I think a couple weeks later, they're telling me, bro, like the Zero Luffy is worth like 10-20K. I'm just like, what? And but like those money are like unheard of from a Yu-Gi-Oh player because you get nothing from winning Yu-Gi-Oh. So I was like very drawn in by that. But overall,
Money
I
talks in
think
every language.
yeah. Although
Right.
I think the friends I made along the way was much more valuable. Like the people I play with in Melbourne are like so great. And they have taught me so much and helped me improve as a player all these years. For the past 3 years actually.
I want to talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh side of things because I was speaking to the head judge at the Sydney offline, Jacob, and he says he's known you from the Yu-Gi-Oh scene as well. What are your like? What's the mindset that you go into One Piece? Because I play Yu-Gi-Oh, but again, as the old man here, I played when Yugi was the main protagonist of the show, and
Hmm.
special tribute summoning a monster was like the coolest thing in the world, and having a 4-star monster with 1,900 attack was like the big
Really not
deal.
elf.
Huge, right? So, what's your mindset now? Because I feel like it's become very combo centric. So, what are your parallels do you see in One Piece?
So I think Yu-Gi-Oh and One Piece is quite different, but one
Mm,
aspect
mm.
will always remain the same in I think almost every card game, and it's like the
RNG.
the you don't know what's in their hand aspect.
Okay.
So both
Bluffing.
sides are always forced to play around certain things. So in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to play around something called hand traps, and in this game you have to play around, like for example, cards like pudding or just even counters in general. So my mindset is always how do I optimize my play, assuming my opponent have this, have that, and sometimes I can't play around this, so I have to play a certain way. Or if I play around this, I definitely lose here, so I have to do a certain way. So it's all about like optimizing each and every single play
Hmm.
with the resources I have.
Hmm. I feel like that can be a bit of a double-edged sword though at times, right? Because you can be inherently scared. Like pudding was a great example.
Yes.
I remember commentating one of the games where Mark was on it, and was that yours, Ernest? You guys were fighting and playing puddings back and forth with each other, or perhaps that was a different UP mirror match. I can't remember.
Look, there definitely was an aspect of kind of like playing around things that might not even exist in my top four game with Jimmy. So, yeah, no, it definitely can be a trap depending on the kind of like player you are.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like knowing me, I'll probably dig way too much into my head about, what am I scared of? And Johan, you play Bonney, right? So you have to be super defensive. I feel you got to know what your opponent can and can't do so that to make sure that their attacks don't come through.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, actually, that's one of the reasons why I really like Bonnie. Is I think it's actually one of the most unpredictable decks to actually run in, like to uh, play into. Because
Mm,
like Bonnie's got like so many top end and also so many like 5 costs that you can like actually vary your turns like very differently depending on how you want to like depending on the situation. So you can actually just either A push harder or B like drag the game longer and it's actually quite difficult for other people to predict what you're doing. So yeah.
yeah, I do like the flexibility aspect of it because like resting one Don to rest any character, regardless of whatever, is just a generically strong ability. I do remember when the leader first came out, I'm like, wow, that is going to be a pain to deal with. But obviously, you guys as top players probably would have seen it way more than I have. So yeah. Um, so I have gathered these lovely people here today, and again, thank you all so much for being here. These beautiful gentlemen came top 8. Sirius was first. Ernest, I believe you were third to fourth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, top four.
And yeah, top 4. And Johan hits 6th to 8th spot, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Fifth to eighth, something like that. Yeah.
Fifth to eighth, fifth to eighth. And I would love to have a chat with these guys about, hey, how did you guys go? How was the games? And yeah, and just see what goes through the mindset of a top player. So, serious, what prep did you do to get ready for the offline regionals? And for all of those who aren't aware, he was playing Green Zoro and topped the whole thing.
So, I also have a very strong playtest group with shout outs to Stefan, Hubert, Jasper, and Nace, who are also top players of Melbourne. Um, and we practice a lot, and because they're very good, so the practice is very efficient. And originally, um, at the start of OP12, I didn't really have a deck to go to because like they hit UP because I was originally playing UP, so I didn't have a deck to play. And then some friends from Singapore, so the Eastern side players, taught me to play Zoro, and then I saw
Oh,
success
okay.
in Auckland, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stick by this deck. And then yeah, I think this deck is the Zoro deck is ridiculously strong, but I don't see much representation of it in Australia.
Okay.
So I'm very glad to finally to give Zoro a win that he deserves here.
Yeah, the right-hand man of the Straw Hat crew. Why not? You gotta show people what's up. Speaking of the Straw Hat crew and the captain of the Straw Hat crew, Ernest, you were playing UP Luffy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I was playing UP Luffy. I played UP Luffy back in OP11. I didn't
Mm.
really have any like notable results to show for it. I think it was like fairly tough just because there was quite a lot of decks running around that was quite good counters to UP Luffy. It had yeah, big target on its back, so decks like Betty, decks like Buggy. Yeah, and so yes, similar. Yeah, so with OP12 and the ban of Big Mom and Katakuri, I was also kind of at a loss of what deck to switch to, and so I, similar to Siris, also yeah, played Grim Zoro and also topped within Auckland. And so for like two of the tournaments,
Must be
actually for a couple
nice.
of
Must
tournaments,
be
like
nice.
look. I would consider for the OP12 format I was like also a Zoro main,
Hmm.
and for PRB, like honestly, like the weeks leading up to Sydney I was mainly just kind of in OP13 waiting room practicing Ace, and I'll be honest, I had not touched UP since OP11
Wow.
and until Friday side event. The day prior to Sydney. So those 8 games. So I played two constructed side events.
Okay.
I went 8-0 over
Phew.
2 side events, and that was the practice, the preparation that I had specifically for UP. Yeah, but look, I think most of us are, kind of very keen for the next OP13 format. So yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the sales posts as an admin on the Australia chat. People are searching for very specific cards. Like, what on earth could this possibly be? And obviously you have the skills since you've just dusted it off from OP11 and you just got straight into it. Top 8, and again, congratulations. Now, speaking of a bit of a legacy, Johan, you've been on and off Bonney for quite some time. What made you go back to? What prep did you do?
Oh, jeez. On and off is like an understatement. Like,
Yeah.
my relationship with the Bonnie deck is like absolutely abusive. Like, there's some sets where like Bonnie is like absolutely amazing, and some
Mm.
sets where it's just like it's like you have to be masochist to play the deck, right? So I played it back in OP07 until OP09 when the start decks came out.
So much dedication. Jeez
Sorry,
Louise.
8.5, I think, 8.5.
Sure,
But I took
sure.
a break from OP09 up until like OP12. I was playing like Shanks and Purple Luffy, but this set, uh, Green Bonnie's good, and it's a comfort pick for me, so I went back to it. In terms of prep for this one, I'm kind of like in the same boat as Ernest, to be honest, where I wasn't really doing too much practice. The only matchup I really enjoyed was actually GP Luffy. I know it's like Bonnie favored, but like it's actually one of the funnest matchups for me for this set. Um, there's just like so many different angles that you can do when they try and bluff the Gundam Giant. So it's definitely one of my favorite matchups for this set. Um, but to be honest, I actually came to Sydney to visit family and like just wanted to play casually and like somehow I got lucky enough to actually beat the UP matchups because for me the UP matchups always been like by default you lose, but in Swiss I somehow managed to win three UP matchups back to back. They all either missed like Godthread or their 9 cost Sanji on curve, so like from there I just capitalized and I managed to pull it off. So
I
Yeah.
must say, must be awfully nice for the two of you to not practice terribly much and still come top eight. Must be nice. Must be nice.
Look, can I just jump in? Like,
Yeah, go,
and
go,
like
go.
Johan can vouch for this. I think like when you haven't like prepared much for a deck, you really have to rely on like the people around you. So
Oh.
Johan can like vouch that I messaged him the morning of Saturday asking, do I go first or second to Bonney? And then I also like messaged, Braden Turner, like the same question, but for GP. So it's, yeah, you really have to rely on like these kind of like external resources like where you can.
I mean,
Mm.
like you guys have been saying so far, community is like such a big part of this, and you guys have obviously made a bit of a home for yourselves in Queensland, and you clearly have a strong network of players to hang around with and to play with, so that's definitely helps, and clearly it helps all of you get your games to where they are. Um, Siris, how did you find the event as a whole? I'm always curious, right? Because obviously, different. We've got LPG, we've got TAC games, we've got so many different venues. How did you find the venue as a whole? How did you feel going into the day?
Uh, Originally, I was okay. I'm kind of I've been playing Open 13 for a while in the east side,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm also was on waiting room. But of course, I did my due diligence and practiced, so I was actually okay going to the event. But I think all the event was overall run very very smoothly,
Mm.
and I've always loved having feature or streams or feature matches, as I say. I think that's so good for the game because it's like it shows people what this game is all about, and then it's good entertainment for the people that play this game, and also gives us a chance to demonstrate like the good players of each region.
Mm-hmm. For sure, for sure, for sure.
So yeah, it was really good of LPG to do it, and Jacob Diab, he's a really good head judge. I really really love him, and yeah, shout out to him.
Shout out, yeah, for sure, for sure. Ernest, what about yourself?
Yeah, no, yeah, really loved the venue. Event was really run, it was professionally, very well done. The stream was really high quality. I really liked the multicam setups and yeah, very handsome commentators. Yeah, no,
No.
shout out to Jacob Diab. Like he's an awesome head judge. He's one of my best friends. Yeah, no, so um, as a player, I really enjoyed the amount of table space that we had.
Mm, mm,
Um, yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, it was awesome venue.
mm.
Really good food kind of nearby in the Westfield as well.
Yeah, while I did like the Bankstown area, Hurstville is just right next to a Westfield. It's just a lot of just convenience, and we need like you need a quick bite. At least we got an hour for a break sort of thing, and you guys can walk around a little bit, de-stress and whatnot, because it's obviously a long day. Yeah,
Yep.
Johan, what about you?
If you don't do so hot, you can always go down and get a drink.
And
Yes,
if I can
yes,
jump
and
in here,
we'll end that. What else can be done downstairs? And yeah, serious. Sorry.
if I can jump in here,
Yeah, go for
yeah,
it.
it was having the venue be like right next to the Westfield Shopping Center was fantastic. Like because I won't lie, when you play like a deck like Zoro, which is like a tempo aggro deck, your games finish very fast. So it was really really good to have like a place to go to after you finish your games.
Mm. It must be nice to stretch your legs a little bit, but I imagine Johan shaking his head. Bonnie's and UP Luffy's
Well,
games are probably a little bit of a grind fest. Well, they can be. Sorry.
like, so I guess I'm really glad that like we had a full hour to actually have lunch. Usually
Mm.
it's like some events it's like 30 minutes, and this time I actually really needed it because like my match right before lunch was a Blackbeard matchup where
Ooh.
it went to time, and it was like because like as Bonnie you have to starve Blackbeard for whatever reason, and it just goes to time, and like I basically need to run out and get food. So I'm glad that Westfield was there because like I could just buy some sushi, eat it real quick, and it was good. So it was great. The venue was great. I always love Let's Play games. Like whenever they host it, it's like the venue choice has always been fantastic,
Mm.
and I think it's always well organized. I like yeah, massive shout out to Jacob. His events are always awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, nice man, nice man. Look, I think the general community really likes their events. I would love to see them back at Chatswood again because it's way closer for me to travel to. Maybe not for you guys though who live interstate, but that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. So the day itself, kind of crazy. for the people who haven't seen their deck list, I'm gonna start going through it now. Ernest, you're in alphabetical order, so I'm gonna start with you first. So give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
I have to click the watch stream button.
Probably.
And I can see Ernest's face and his
Yes.
wide smile.
It's all
my purple hat.
it's
Shout
all
out
happy.
uncommon cards.
It's all happy smiles and faces. So let's take a walk through your deck list. Anything you want to call out here that you feel that is something a little bit
Yeah,
different,
sure.
or yeah, go for it, man.
Look, this deck looks suspiciously like Jonas Abraham's first place list because it is. So we actually okay. So we had a PRB tournament the week. Was it a week or 2 weeks prior? I actually look. I don't remember. I think it's 2 weeks. Anyway, so my testing through so in Queensland, like I trained with and my close friends, Elliot, Cam, Duval, Peck, Sam. So specifically Duval, Cam, and we played UP, and I think specifically like Steven actually like forgot that he was going to play. He forgot that he had a ticket for the event, so he reached out to me and asked for a list. So I basically like sent him list, but I swapped one of the 9-cost Luffy's to Red Rock because I just like figured, look, it's a jungle format. You got to be prepared for anything. You got to be prepared for your like 9-cost Zoros, like Hada in purple Katakuri or something like that. And so going into this event, I went back to the original list. I got rid of Red Rock because I just wanted to have a very streamlined game plan. I didn't want to have any option of starving. You just had to kind of like go face aggro. And yeah, also just like expecting a lot of mirror because I think like from most of the tournament data for PRB, you can see that uh, UP Luffy is highly represented. So yeah, went back to the original build. Cannot say I missed Red Rock at all. And anytime
Okay.
I dropped 9-cost Luffy like in like most of my games. Every single time you drop it, it feels really good. Unfortunately, I did not drop it when I needed to in my top 4 game. But we can go into that like later on. Yeah, but yeah, no, like this list is like very very standard. I think everyone here would agree. Yeah, it's honestly like UP lists. It's like the same core, 46 cards or whatever. It's not much, not very special.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, I only asked because look, as while I was commentating with Paul, I just noticed there was like you're right. There's very much a core. There's some slight variations here or there. Like not everyone ran that 8-cost Luffy. Some people had Gravity Blade. Some people had Red Rock or some kind of removal to get there. And puddings were either 1 or 2 to I guess deal with certain matchups. But yeah, is while we're talking about your deck list, can you think would you take this to OP13? Would you want to make any improvements to it or
Oh,
changes to it?
so to be honest, I would not count myself as a UP Luffy like expert. So honestly, I would just like check one of Noel Lim's lists that's been working for him in OP13.
Okay.
So I know that they like add in the ACOS promo Roger, which comes out kind of like probably in
Yes.
time for Melbourne OP13 regional. So we'll definitely so that'll definitely be a sought after card because it's run in both UP and Roger. And I also know that Douglas Bullet, like Noel, is like a big fan of that card. Yeah,
This
I'm not. I think
explains
they
why that
probably
card
cut
is
the
yeah.
yeah, they probably cut like ACOS Luffy or something like that. Yeah,
Mm,
but it's
mm.
like fairly similar. Like it's like relying on Rosie Nante since we've lost Katakuri.
Yeah, that's fair.
Although I guess like with ACOS Roger, it like helps also defensively.
Yeah, for sure. I was wondering why Douglas Bullet from what STO5 was suddenly making all the appearances. Hey, I'm looking for this. Hey, I'm looking for this. Hey, I'm looking for this. And okay, that makes sense. But yeah, appreciate the feedback and congrats again. Next on our list, Mr. Johan. Let me get you out your deck. Da-da. Alrighty, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Lovely. You even got your old art in here. Okay, talk me through the deck, because I know I've seen Bonney has a little bit more variation, especially in the top end. Yeah, yeah. Walk me through it.
I mean, I feel like this is a fairly standard-ish Bonnie list. So probably the things that are a bit spicy are probably the Dead Man game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I know people have taken out one Hody nowadays, just because we're running so many different top ends, and the deck does get a bit bricky. So Dead Man's game is a bit of like a halfway measure. You can counter with it, but at the same time, I think it's just a very spicy one-of that can like just really catch your opponent off guard. It's like to say it's like not like the best card in my deck. I would probably say for the weekend, it was probably the best card in my deck. Like it won me too many games. Like if I didn't have it, I definitely would have been struggling for my top 16 match. So yeah, that card definitely as a one of paid off. I have the one copy of Zoro as well. I probably want to have more of that.
Oh, okay.
If I were to redo it, I'd probably want at least two copies of it. For my top 16 match, I versed a Bonnie Mirror.
Mm,
He
mm,
had
mm.
4 copies of a 9-cost Zoro, and
Whew.
geez, it is a nightmare being a Bonnie player
It is
having
a
to run his.
man.
Yeah, yeah, it's scary. It's scary. If they just leave it standing, like, what do you do? It's just gonna start like, yeah, yeah. There's just so much pressure that comes from Zoro. Um, it's also one of your win conditions against UP.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, if you're versing UP Luffy, you're not gonna be able to survive like in the long term unless you actually have the Zoro on board. That's the only way you can compete against UP Luffy in terms of like a game of attrition. So, given that they're not running Red Rock anymore, you definitely want to have like if you see this, you have a much better chance of winning.
It's
Um,
funny you say this,
yeah,
make these comments about Dead Man's game and about Zoro the Nine Cost, because I remember watching Siris's game, and his game two of his of the finals. I saw his game two. He played the Zoro, and Paul Basor and I were just absolutely chuffed that a one of made it to the game, and Dead Man's game saved him from uh, a Frankie rush swing that was 7k, and Deadman's game was the cheeky 3k counter that he needed to escape that. But we'll get to that in a minute. Now Johan, OP13. Yeah, Bonnie. Nah, Bonnie. Or have you any improvements, any changes? Your face tells me you're pivoting again.
yeah, probably not Bonnie. Bonnie seems like it's fairly like unwinnable into Emu, so probably
Mm,
a no-go there. I think there's quite a lot of good green ones, green cards coming out for OP14, so there's actually slight chance that Bonnie might come
okay,
back.
okay,
Um,
okay.
Not sure how it would go like toe to toe with Mihawk in terms of like which one would be better, but definitely more of a chance in OP14. Um, but for next set, I am very undecided in terms of what deck to play. Like
Classic.
out of the 6 new leaders, 5 of them seem very appealing to me. So like, um, yeah, yeah. Like I'm tilting off Ace. That's the only one that I would say that I'm tilting off. But
Oh.
besides that, yeah, yeah. Not too sure about 13 yet.
Okay, fair enough. Um, we still have a little bit of time before the set comes out. I know that. Oh, sorry. What am I saying? It's the set's already out, but I guess we haven't really solved the meta yet. Even though Imu is going to be, I'm sure, the big bad boogeyman as he is in the show, in the series, and all sort of stuff. But yeah, curious to see what you play next. And last but not least, Cirrus, your deck. Very, very spicy. The only Zoro player in the top 16. Alright, is that coming through? Alright, mate. Talk me through it. You're the big Chad winner. What what is this thing? Tell me. Walk me through it.
So the shell itself is very standard, but the spicy part is probably, for example, the three lunas. I think this card is
Hmm.
so insane into every deck that's not UP. And even against UP, if it's in your life, it's pretty good because it stops like a hit. Because this thing, because the concept is like Zoro swings and can only swing 7 and under once. So you just swing at the big thing, and then and then they're most likely not gonna counter because you have 3 floating, because you can just kill them afterwards restand, right? So then they have to let it go, and then you go face, and then you loot out the rest of the board. That's 7 or less, and then you just get a free turn.
Yeah, for sure, for
So
sure.
swing 12 and like floating 3 and making them gamble if I have Luna or restand event is like my favorite play in this deck.
Yeah, I saw a few times when, because I thought I made the comment on stream, or yeah, I'm pretty sure I did, where I felt, oh, against UP, Luna is not as powerful by comparison.
Mhm.
But then, you obviously can hit the Rosinante, you can hit the Nami. There are a lot of actually really good targets that you just want to get rid of, and Luna just says, you know what? No, you're not gonna come back. Especially the Nami. If they're Don poor and they got a fistful of events and they need the blocker up, yeah, Luna does the job. Luna definitely does the job.
Yeah, Luna is usually pretty dead against UP, but in my finals against Jimmy, because he decides to turn the Nami sideways to pressure me, which he
Hmm.
has to because UP has to pressure Zoro. So I get you have my Luna life, and I think that was actually a pretty big turning point because I took away so much pressure from him. And then my deck list has a bunch of one-offs because I designed my deck list to be, if I make top cut and my deck list is shown to everyone, they have to play around these cards.
For sure, for sure. Uh,
So like I have like one BMG, one waterfall,
mm-hmm.
and then 1 0 cost. So then they have to play around a lot of things, right? This is what I was saying before. You have to make it as hard for your opponent to play as optimized as possible.
Yeah, mind games is definitely the way that I feel. And Ernest, I see you come off mute. Go for it, man.
Yeah, no, can I just jump in here? I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah, of course.
I did like consider like having the one of Red Rock for like in case I get into Top Cut, but honestly like my thinking was like, you know what? If I make it into Top Cut, I'm happy.
Hey man, that's like that's positive thinking. But all I would comment is, Siris has a slight advantage here. Both Hiyori and Perona, if I'm not mistaken, both can find the Dead Man's Game and can find the Zoro, so it makes it slightly more consistent in terms of like getting them out. Compared to Bonney, right? I know that Red Rock you can get it out with the leader ability, but yeah, Zoro definitely has a slight advantage in that department. Um, did you feel that the 9 cost Zoro helps you out?
Oh yeah, like this card has won me so many games because it was originally meant for a nail matchup because that was actually quite a difficult matchup if you play Starview.
Mm, 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 mm.
But this card overperformed against the UP in this weekend because people just stopped playing Red Rock. And especially right as soon as I entered Top Cut, when I see people's decklist and I see that no one except like 2 had Red Rock, I'm just like, okay, because I'm second in Swiss, I can choose to go first, which I want to do against UP anyways. If I can find my Zoro and slam it down on 9 Dong, I'm probably going to win the game.
Yeah, okay, okay, okay. That's a great mindset
But
to have.
I never got to do that. I only got to play it on 10 Dong, and by that point it was already too slow, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I guess you can pitch it with a 0 cost event. It's something, right? At least you're not wasting it completely. Um, So I'm a little bit of a novice because I haven't really studied OP13 just yet. But from what I hear, Zoro's playstyle changes from here to OP13. What changes do you want to bring into this deck, and are you going to take this deck to OP13?
Yes, I'll definitely be playing this deck in OP13 because
Sick,
I already
sick, sick,
have.
sick. Oh, okay.
And you take out a bunch of the 0 cost, the waterfall, the
Oh, okay.
Zoro, Luna, and the 4 cost Zoro, and you play a bunch of cards that make you more aggressive because now with Emu around, you must play more aggressive because you're never gonna outscale that deck because that deck spawns 2 blockers as soon as it's late game, and then you can just finish them off. So this thing becomes a lot more aggressive, but it's still a very, very, very strong deck. I would say, okay, it's definitely top 3, but I personally think it's best deck in format because I think it's the only deck that doesn't get like affected by dice roll as much in all the matchups.
Okay, okay. Because I've seen some stats where Imu going, I think second, is if the stats for it to win are just absolutely insane, and it's kind of crazy that a game is dictated by a dice roll. But Yeah. Okay.
So Emu is favored into Zoro if I go second. But if Zoro gets to go second against the Emu, Zoro has like a 70% win rate against that deck.
Oh. Oh.
And that's for
Okay.
an unfavored matchup.
Interesting.
And Zoro
Interesting.
itself is already not like favored into Ace. So I just feel like this is just probably the best deck.
Okay. Okay. While we're talking to you at the same time, let's talk about your matchups. So, I'll stop sharing my screen. So I got your stats here in front of me. Let's see here. So Siris, day one you had one loss, if I'm not mistaken, against
Yes.
Rayleigh. So you versus GP, Red Sanji, Red Green
Yep.
Smoker, Amira Zoro, UP Luffy, Red Rayleigh, Bonney, UP, and then once you met Top Cut, you took it all away against two UPs, a Rayleigh and a UP. How did your matchups go? Obviously, you crushed it, but is there any strategies you want to call out for Zoro, like or against your unfavored one? Like what happened with the Rayleigh on the first day?
So Rayleigh is actually a very hard matchup for this deck
Hmm.
because they have Buggy and Buggy says come be killed by Slash and your whole
Yeah.
deck is Slash except Perona.
Yeah. Sure.
So in my game against it's actually a feature match as well. I lost against the guy who because he played triple Buggy, so I already playing from very behind. But then he caught me by surprise with his Cloven Rose plus Morgan combo.
Yeah. That was I
So
saw
that
that
was
deck.
actually no. I'm glad I have it on stream so the world can see me get sauced up by Cloven Rose.
Hmm.
But apart from that, I think my matchups are all very favored for me. Because I came in that weekend very knowing that my bad matchups were only just Rayleigh and Nell. I think if I didn't meet any Nell, and then yeah, if most of my matchups are favored, and I think it will be a pretty good weekend for me.
Yeah, for
And in
sure.
Top Cut, I faced Rayleigh again, but he did not double buggy me this time, so
That
I had a
must have
much
been
easier
nice.
time facing him. Yeah. And the Lunas helped, right? The three Lunas really helped in
Mm.
that matchup
Against
because
that
he
deck,
makes it
yeah,
so
for
I can
sure.
ignore his board and race him down before he kills me.
Mm. And then you can just take away a character, ideally with leader ability, and then go for face. So
Yeah, like I would, what I would like to do is I like to bait it. I like to swing very small at the character so that encourage them to give me counter.
mm.
So then and then when I swing again at the face, and afterwards I just freeze the whole board and they just waste the counter for nothing.
I gotta say, all three of you, whenever I watched your games, you were always fishing for. I think we were talking about it quite a lot on stream, but I feel like there's a lot of times where you're trying to assess one, do they have a 2k counter in hand? That's first thing. Two, you're always trying to make them lose resources from their hand as much as they can, so that you're in a better position against them. And yeah, it's a level of play that hasn't hit me quite yet. I understand the whole, checking for a 2k counter and all this sort of stuff, but the way you guys do it live, it's great. It's amazing to see. You guys clearly know what you're doing. Well, I'm just like, this could maybe work, but there's obviously a lot of math that goes behind it and a lot of probability to figure out, hey, he's got X amount of this, X amount of cards in hand. What does he got left? You guys check trash very frequently. I never touch it. That's probably a sign of me though. But yeah, just to get as much information as you can. So yeah. Ernest, your UP day one also not so nice against a Rayleigh, but you versus UP Mirror, Blue Duffy,
Yeah, that
Yamato,
I had yep.
yeah, Yamato, two GPs, another UP, Rayleigh, UP. Yeah. How was your day one? What happened with
Look, day
Rayleigh?
one. Okay, so all right. Well, it's just yeah, starting with day one. I
Yeah,
would say
sure.
that I had like a pretty like meta run. I think like the B Doffy is like pretty spicy. Yamato is probably like also kind of spicy, but although I think like Josh Alcock would probably contest to that. To he would say best deck. But yeah, like with the Rayleigh game. Look, honestly, like I think like Dylan's just had like much more experience with that matchup, Rayleigh versus UP. Whereas
Mhm.
like for me, like I haven't like versed Rayleigh that much as UP. Like I've versed Rayleigh as Zoro. Um, and yeah, he was like pretty aggressive, like spawning 3-cost Sanjis off his 4-cost Luffy, playing down his like 2K Brooks and things like that, and
For sure.
like still having enough counter to defend. And I think at some point I kind of recognized, like I was like, I was like on zero life. I had to survive like 2 or 3 turns of being at zero life with no blocker because like there's no point playing blockers against uh Rayleigh. And I think at that point, like I identified that I can't develop anymore. I just have to like punch face like a kind of like an idiot every turn, just like 10, 15, just punch him down. And look, unfortunately, like at the end, essentially I went, 10 with Mihawk, 15 with Leader, and he was able to
Wow.
guard the 15.
That's a
But I like at the end of the day, I'm like happy that I kind of put myself like I recognized I was falling behind, so I have to put myself in a position where I can close the game. And
yeah.
yeah, like Dylan was able to bait me to go all in, although like at that point, like he knows that he has enough counter to guard all in.
Yeah, I've tried UP Luffy like a handful of times, and do you feel that being on 3 life do you feel like the stress from that? Because it's obviously way less than normal, obviously minus like Vegapunk, but yeah, do you feel that it's fair for it, or is it like
Uh, I think look, given it's a 6K leader that can draw 2 cards in the late game, I would say that it's like pretty fair. Like I think this deck would be like devastating if it was full life. Also, I love I like playing Ace and OP 13, so I love 3 life leaders. Yeah. I look, I think like specifically for Rayleigh, it probably is punishing, and so you kind of have to even like guard a lot of you have to guard all the early swings just because it's just, like Rayleigh's just gonna chip 6 6 6 6 6,
mm,
and like the amount of swings is just gonna kind of diminish your hand. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was.
Cool. And day two, I see Pudding, Yellow Kid, and unfortunately a mirror UP Luffy stopped your run. How did you feel against Pudding and Yellow Kid?
All right, so I'll be honest. So, oh yeah, so what I was not comfortable matching Pudding in top 16. Like immediately after taking the photos with every one else that made top 16, I went downstairs, had a chat with some Queensland boys. One of them is a Pudding main who also made top 64 on the day, and just like basically he's like sat down and asked him for tips, asked
Nice.
just like discussed lines and things like that. And when I got home to the accommodation, I punched in a pudding list and I kind of like versed, self versus self on the sim. And I concluded that this matchup is unwinnable, going first or second. I woke up 5 o'clock on Sunday and just like versed myself for 2 more hours and kind of still concluded the same.
Wow.
So I kind of I went into top 16 basically just like thinking, look, YOLO, I'm gonna high roll. And um all yeah, so like throughout day two top cut, I lost like the first game of
Mm.
uh every like top cut game. So I just kind of had to kind of like try to learn from that first game and then just try to like persevere and push on. So yeah, no, I was pretty ecstatic to somehow get through the pudding game. I remember in the second game I was able to like summon 2 Bon Clays before the 10 mum turn, and then so
Oh.
like they were forced to 9 mum one of the Bon Clay, so now I'm on 3 life, and then like the next turn I play like 9 Sanji into Bon Clay, and then like after that, I'm just like punching. I'm going like 10 10. Oh, like 6 6 10 10 10, and punched the pudding to 0 life, and just kind of like after that, just even with like one body on board, every turn you can just kind of punch like 12 leader, um, and the cutters like can't really like pudding runs a lot of bricks, so you can kind of aggro them down, and you kind of have to aggro them down that way before they get too crazy with the big mums.
It's weird you saying aggro in UP because I always associate aggro with like low cost, low to the ground sort of thing. But then, I know UP has a very big top end because obviously want to capitalize on the Sanzis and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, Bonclays would have been instrumental in that matchup, right? It's just to be able to mimic, their leader or their characters and all this sort of stuff. Because Pudding plays pretty beefy units too, right?
Yeah, it's actually look. I think it's a pretty legit deck. Like when I was like versing myself, I'm like, oh, this deck is fun. Yeah, like the PRB support for pudding is really good. The new 7 cost pudding. Being able to play 8 Carter, one of the best cards.
Oh,
From
spicy.
OP11. Yeah, had to get banned. Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable, understandable. And Yellow Kid, similar sort of mindset, or
So I haven't really practiced that matchup in a while, but from my understanding, it is UP favored. The first game, I'm pretty sure that the leader didn't even like the yellow kid leader didn't even rest. Like all of my life was just kind of burned by 6 cost Nico, 8 cost kid, and then like probably like Red Hawk my blocker and just like jam like, and I was probably bricked or something like that. But second and third game, I was able to just like really keep control of the board, like just ignoring any kind of life heal events, kind of just like jamming the 6 cost Kumas, the 4 cost Okikus. Like I don't care if they heal, like at least I've got one less body to deal with, and one thing to put pressure. Um, and then essentially just kind of like draining the kid player's hand until they have like 1 or 0 cards in hand. So they might be 5 life, but they've got 0 cards. I've got 4 9 cost bodies. And then you can
it's
at that turn you're kind of like 2-tone lethal.
yeah, it's
You can
kind of
kind of just go 6 6 6 9 9 5 don up.
yeah, very very scary for them to face that down. But I guess you're talking about the first match where they just had Nico Robbins and just chipping away at life. That must have been just rough. It just adds the whole I'm only a 3 life leader. This is gonna hurt extra. You know what I mean? Hindsight, it turns on Thunderbark or faster. Silver lining is all I can say. And last but not least, Johan, excuse me, undefeated day one.
Yeah.
Blue Yellow Nami, Zoro, GP Luffy, Blackbeard, and then a spur
Yeah.
of UP Luffy's, and then the 2 relays, and one of the relays that Ernest bumped into.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I don't know where to begin. Like,
Oh,
I
I mean,
guess
undefeated. I don't, you don't have much to say. I get it. I get it. I get it.
I guess I was pretty worried about the EP matchup, right? Like, I think that's every Bonney player's worst nightmare is like having to run into EP. Winning 3 back to back is actually a miracle. Like I said, I think I just got lucky there, given the fact that they all bricked in some way or form, and then I think just good fundamentals to like um, help me actually secure those wins. Um, I think in terms of like say Rayleigh, very much favored matchup for a Bonnie. I just starve them and then I just hide behind an 8 cost kit and I'm chilling. So that
Mm.
one very much favored. The first Rayleigh match against Dylan. I actually bricked. At one point, I had like 7 cards in hand and 2k counter total, and I was just like,
Well,
I am so screwed. I went to 0 as well, which is not what you want to do against Rayleigh because they have the unblockable event. But then I just played an 8 cost kid and I managed to stabilize from there. So um, that was pretty rough. Blackbeard before lunch. I mentioned that before.
mm.
Massive long star game.
And you were
But
starving, right?
it's yeah. I was starving him. I was starving myself. Yeah. um, yeah. So GP. I think that's like I said, favorite matchup of
Mm.
this set. That was against a good friend of mine. So we just had fun and like I just happened to well, I think it's still Bonnie favored that matchup, but yeah, if I see everything, well, yeah, it's just it is just heavily favored for Bonnie for that one. Just because if you hide behind an 8 cost kid, it's really difficult for them to actually push through.
Mm.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's an AK. The biggest swinger they've got is what, 7, right? As GP Luffy.
They've
Eight.
got
Luffy
the
Taro.
7 cost Leaf Taro.
Oh
Luffy Taro.
That's
yes. Sorry.
but
And
right now they're not running Gamma Knife or any like attack reduction or power reduction. So like once the ACOS kit sticks, yeah, it's pretty nice being on this side.
I remember, I think it was Henry may have played it on live stream. I remember he gamma knifed against, who is he versing? I
Germa.
remember Germa. That's right. I remember seeing that gamma knife, like, ooh, that's spicy. That's spicy. That's spicy.
Mm.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
day
I think
two.
that's like. Hmm.
Yeah, go for it, go for it.
Oh yeah, I think that's like Gamma Knife is like the Bonney tech. So if you're running it and you just find it, you basically just win. Like, yeah, unless they play like two kids back to back. But yeah, that's basically how you win.
That seems unlikely though to play two kids back to back though, right?
Pretty unlikely. Most people only run two nowadays.
Hmm.
You have to search for it. It's pretty easy to search for one, but getting two back to back is a bit difficult. But you're probably dead anyway after the first one dies. Like the turn that the first one dies, you're probably dead.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it seems like your worst nightmares happened on day two. Bonney Mirror against a friend of yours, who I believe you said was in your area as well, and then the UP Luffy matchup.
Yeah. So I guess similar to Ernest, like when I got home, I actually just like put his deck list into the sim, did just did some self practice, and after a few, after an hour of realizing as soon as he drops one of his four Zoros, I'm cooked. Um, I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna rock up and just do my best and see how I go. Um, I'm not expecting to see my Zoro because it's a one of, and I managed to like find the one of Zoro in the first two games, and
Oh
I
wow.
managed to win 2-0. So I'm not sure how. First game it was in my opening hand I kept, and then I just won from playing it on curve. Second game, I played it one turn after he played his first Zoro, and then it was just kind of like a back and forth game of attrition. Um, yeah, but I think experience really kicked in terms of like piloting Bonnie, and yeah, I was able to win that one.
Hmm. Nice work. Nice.
UP against Jimmy, who came second at the end of Top Cut. Um, Good friend of mine as well. Yeah, no, he just rolled me. Like I don't know how else to put it. Like, I think we finished in like 15 minutes.
Oh.
He absolutely rolled me. He saw all his pieces. He really knows the body matchup extremely well. So like uh, he knew how to like basically close out any opportunity for me to win. Like and I also didn't find my nine cost Zoro. So yeah, there you go.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, that was top cut for me.
Yeah, yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, if they've got practice, and they know what to do, it's pretty hard to, circumvent it. You guys been talking about strategies to practice. You're running the sim against yourself, and you try to get people's decks and whatnot. Sirius, you were mentioning before how you want to think about other potential cards that they may have. You want to play around it. Sirius, do you have any other tips for future players? Obviously you guys put a lot of time and effort, and there's obviously a lot of practice. But any tips you want to give to budding players that can help them along their way?
I would say
Get good.
sometimes you have to risk it for the biscuits. Like
Okay.
you have to play unconventionally to,
Oh.
because for example, right, like the way I would describe it is that if I'm playing Zoro, I will always swing 12 and float 3, even if I don't have a restand event. Because they don't know I don't have a restand event. So they
Mm.
have to play like I do have a restand event. Because they have to respect it. And that will win you so many games in the long run.
Interesting. Interesting.
Forcing your opponent to respect the card. It's the same thing with Pudding. In my finals with Jimmy, there was a turn where he wanted to go for lethal, and he swung 9 first when I had 1 life. And then that's just when I look at him and he look at me. And that's basically us like him telling me he has Pudding, but I have to like guess he has Pudding because it's not confirmed. So I have to give him 2-2-1, which makes him like split his attacks much more differently now because now like, I drop 3 cards for it.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
So have to gamble sometimes to win,
Hmm. Okay. I feel that
or else like you'll lose by like standard procedure.
Mm. I was just gonna comment that I feel that sometimes I get caught up in my head that I don't know when to be aggressive and when to be defensive, and sometimes I misread the situation. Yeah, maybe going for it is just the way, because what else can you do, right?
You sort of just really calculate if you can survive this, so you can play defensive, or if you have to go in.
Fair enough.
That's kind of like it just learn how like make sure you know how to count. That's what I would say.
I don't know, man. TCG plays and reading cards and counting is very difficult.
Yeah. I know, I know. I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! We don't know how to read.
Bro, I don't know how you read the text on those cards. I swear it went from like a line, a blurb of like some lore about the card to now it's like a mini essay down there.
Yeah,
You guys have good eyesight.
that's correct.
Yeah. Or just memorize the pictures or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, basically we get someone who can read to explain to us, and then we memorize it from there.
Ah, I see. I see. You need to dictate the card. You need to listen to it. Don't read it.
Yeah,
Don't read it.
yes.
Don't read it. Nah, big brain. Big brain. Use someone else's energy, not yours. Um,
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Ernest, what about you? You've talked about versing, you're playing with your local community. You guys have like a strong team there, versing yourself and that sort of thing. Any other tips that you want to give to the other players who want to play this a bit more competitively?
Yeah, well, actually, I just wanted to like speak on that topic of like when to be aggressive, when to be
Mm, mm,
defensive,
mm.
because I was like put into that position with my stream game with Jimmy, especially in game 3, and it's kept me up at night just like rewatching it and kind of like looking at the decision point. Like I know exactly where I was like deciding, oh, should I like play 9 into 10 cost Luffy and just go for it, or 10k Luffy and just go for it, or do I play a little bit defensive and play, 5 Nami into 5 Rosie. Um, so yeah, like that moment is kind of like illustrative of I think what you're talking about. Like from my perspective, I know that if I play 9 cost Sanji into 9 cost Luffy, I put Jimmy in a position where he has to go for game. He's and knowing the cards in my hand, like even though I have a gum gum in my hand, like he will pudding me, and then essentially like the only way that I live is if I have gum gum in life. And as you can see on the stream, gum gum was in my second life.
Oh,
um, that that moment is actually quite important to like push because Jimmy's on 1 life, and I need like that's like my only window to
mm,
be aggressive because I was behind on board and I played 5-5. I kind of give Jimmy enough time for him to start playing blockers every turn and push every turn. And at that point, he creates like an unwinnable board state for me to close the game. So yeah, I guess like deciding when to go aggressive, when to go defensive, I think often it comes down to your natural instinct as a player.
mm.
This is something that I like read about in a Magic the Gathering
Oh,
like fundamentals course. Like it's written by Reed Duke. He's like Magic the Gathering Hall of Famer. It's like card games at a high level. I think a lot of it is about like mind games.
for sure.
Everyone has like a natural tendency to be aggressive, to turtle up and be defensive. It's not right or wrong. It's just knowing what your natural tendency is. For me as a player, and also maybe because like my experience with UP is kind of still OP11 UP, which back in OP11, you really can be a turtle defensive deck because you can just play cutter, which is aggressive for the next turn, but very defensive and you just won't die. Or you play 9 mum and you just play another turn. But you can't do that anymore with the Kata and Big Mum ban. And I think like I would characterize UP now as like a much more aggressive deck.
Okay.
And Jimmy, who is a very red aggressive player, I think he's had a lot of experience playing UP. He came second in Brisbane. Yeah, he was just he as a player, like he told me after the game that his default tendency is to be aggressive. So he just like smelled the blood and just like went for game. And yeah. So like look, it's really good for me to kind of um like even before Top Cut, I like wrote down like in my little like my phone just like things to focus on
Mm,
during my Top Cut games. Like one of the things I wrote is um like if you're behind, you need to take risks. If you're ahead, you need to play safe. and I did not do that in the heat of the moment. But it's a good learning opportunity for sure. And yeah, I've got and I think the second point that is about how to kind of like comprehend 9 rounds for day one. Like it seems like a lot of rounds, The way that I approached it was I kind of like chunked the day into 3 waves of 3 rounds, which seems a little bit easier to comprehend. It's like 3 mini locals. And you just kind of have to So I look, that's a strategy that works for me. And hopefully that can help others as well.
No, that I think that's a fair point because I feel like perhaps just myself that if I'm taking a deck to a competitive event, I think, oh, 9 rounds, that's like 35 minutes to 40 minutes, that's like almost an hour, that's like 9 hours. What deck can I play for 9 hours straight, give or take, and not stuff up, right? So you talk about, do I play super meta? Do I play like my comfort deck? Do I play something that, that it may not be the greatest, but I'm like, I know this deck end to end, back to back, and it's just comfort, and I just go because it's just physical memory. You just do the things, and it just plays out. So that's a really good way, positive way to think about it, right? If it's just 3 bits, 3 locals just push into one day, you have a little bit of a break in the middle, helps the brain to like process a little better. No, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, that's real good. Uh, Johan, what about yourself? You've talked about, again, playing against yourself. You've obviously had a lot of practice. You're in a bit of a sweet spot with Bonney because you played her before, but you've also obviously practiced kind of recently. So what do you suggest?
I mean, there's quite a lot that goes into it. I think I think one thing I definitely recommend is having a good play group.
Mm,
I've got the luxury that I've got multiple because given that I started in Sydney and then I moved to the Gold Coast, I actually have multiple play groups, one in each state, and I can um, bounce ideas from both sides. So I've got that luxury, which I think most don't. But if you can get yourself a good play group that's also passionate about the game, I think that's a really good place to start. Um, I guess the conversation earlier about um, knowing when to go play aggressive, when not to. I think it also comes to knowing the game plan on the matchup. So figuring out who is on a timer is extremely important. So if you know you're on a timer, you should be playing a lot more aggressive and a lot more risky. And I think that's not just based on the matchup. I think that dynamic changes like in the middle of a game. So at some point in the game, the dynamic could change that you're on the timer instead of your opponent, and then you have to just play a lot more aggressive versus, okay, I'm stable, I just need to lock down the win, and I just need to secure it. And I think knowing when that shift is will actually up your game to a whole nother level.
hmm,
And so yeah.
hmm. Fair enough. Fair enough. So knowing that you're on stream, right, this is being recorded right now, which playgroup is better, Sydney or Queensland?
I signed an NDA. I can't.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. It's interesting that you made that comment about the shift in dynamic. I noticed that in a few of your games, there was times where I feel like, oh, I would have tried and gone for lethal just then, but I feel that um uh there's definitely a time where it's like, look, I can go for lethal now. The probability is decent, but I want to secure it. So you wait an extra turn to prepare yourself for it, for that, I guess, final push, or whatever you want to call it, because you're already in the driver's seat, and you don't need to take the gamble. But if you're ready for it, and hey, this is the next pivotal turn for him and me, and then, or the other player, then at least okay, I'll get ready now. I know that I know what I can do, and then just go for it. Yeah, yeah. No, that's good points. Good points. So, um, this video has gone on for a little bit long. Thanks everyone for watching. And I guess going around the room, any shoutouts, any final words that you want to give out, or anything like that before we close out? Siris, you want to start off?
I guess shout outs to the Melbourne group. I think the HQ group, like Stefan, Hubert, Jasper, Easy, and huge shout outs to the Eastern side players, and they're great coaches like Chalice, SJ, Ice, and Newbie. They are really, really good coaches, and thanks to all of them, that I got to this far.
Very nice, very nice. Ernest, yourself?
Yeah, shout out to Eternal Magic, William Chong. Shout out to the Brisbane group, Elliot, Duval, Peck, and sorry, Johan, I'm gonna adopt Sam. And yeah, shout outs to locals in Brisbane. We have a really great community. Honestly, like shout outs to the all the boys that I stayed with. Yeah, like for the Sydney regionals, we had a really nice pizza party yesterday, and also watched
Nice.
LOL. It was really nice to see yeah the cute side of Nick and yeah just everyone.
Nice, man. And Johan, yourself?
Yeah, I guess shout out to TIP. That's Zach and Koi. Primarily, I think the wider team is a bit too many people to for me to mention, but yeah. I also want to shout out to, I guess, Daniel Sane from Gold Coast and the Gold Coast crew in general. I couldn't have really done it without, I guess, the group, but yeah, yeah, thanks to them.
Yeah, sweet. Well, like I said, thank you all so much for being here. And I hope to commentate at the next big event. I'm sure, hopefully, I'll catch you guys soon. Maybe do some onlines or something like that. And with that said, have an awesome time, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.
All right.